Kathleen P. Agnew, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Hugh Alderson, Master of Library Science. Leah M. Allen, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Theater Arts Education. Caleb S. Allagood, Bachelor of Science, History Education. David Anaya, Bachelor of Science, Mathematics Education. Tamara P. Arispe, Master of Library Science. Christy Bach, Master of Arts in Education, Birth through Kindergarten Education. Amber S. Baños, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Amelia C. Barron, Master of Music, Music Education. Caitlin Barnes, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Carson S. Barnhill, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Courtney S. Beckman, Master of Library Science. Jennifer L. Benner, Master of Library Science. Laura C. Bethia, Doctorate of Education, Educational Leadership. Stephanie L. Boggs, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Michael M. Bolin, Master of Library Science. Rasher R. Brault, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Angela T. Burley, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Brandon D. Bird, Master of Library Science. Jennifer D. Bird, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Kyle M. Bird, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Alyssa M. Cacavaro, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Sharon R. Carter Moore, Master of School Administration. Elizabeth I. Carver, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Lindsay Cosby, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Jennifer A. Clark, Master of Library Science. Dylan G. Cook, Master of Arts in Education, Adult Education. Christopher L. Cooper, Master of Arts in Education, Adult Education. Maggie J. Cox, Master of Library Science. Catherine P. Deal, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Kayla S. Deso, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Jessica W. Dickerson, Master of Library Science. Darian T. Donaldson, Doctorate of Education, Educational Leadership. Jessica L. Dorr, Master of Library Science. Kayla A. Driver, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Sarah E. Dumont, Bachelor of Music, Music Education. Amy L. Eagle, Master of Library Science. Brittany A. Edwards, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Hannah B. Edwards, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Sienna R. Evans, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Art Education. Troy W. Everett, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Daphne M. Faircloth, Master of Science, Instructional Technology. William J. Fargo, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Art Education. Amy T. Farrell, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Emily M. Fincher, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Abigail D. Flynn, Bachelor of Science, Physical Education. Rudy L. Fox, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Michaela D. Garris, Master of Arts in Education, Mathematics Education. Molly J. Gastineau, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Sydney N. Gibson, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Christine L. Gilmore, Master of Library Science. Carrie A. Goldsmith, Master of Arts in Education, Adult Education. Kim D. Good, Special Endorsement in Computer Education Certificate. Brandy M. Goodwin, Master in Library Science. Catherine B. Grimes, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Alexandria N. Harbor, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Carrie J. Hargrove, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Christina R. Harrell Winstead, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Jason L. Harris, Master of Library Science. Jesse J. Harris, Master of Arts in Education, Adult Education. Jessica A. Harris, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Natasha F. Higgins, Master of Library Science. Catherine E. Hill, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Madison R. Hill, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Leah S. Hobgood, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Renee H. Honeycutt, Master of Library Science. Heather B. Horn, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Bradley M. Houston, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Anna S. Howard, Master of Arts in Education, Elementary Education. Catherine R. Hoyle, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Callie B. Jenkins, Master of Arts in Education, Mathematics Education. Mackenzie B. Jenkins, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Jeffrey M. Johnson, Master of Science, Instructional Technology. Kinsey L. Johnson, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Erica P. Johnston, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Lauren T. Jones, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Alexandra M. Karanakis, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Patricia Kendalls, Master of Library Science. Brianna M. Kendrick, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Stephanie K. Knight, Master of Library Science. Meredith Knox, Master of Science, Instructional Technology. Hallie Lintelme, Bachelor of Science, Middle Grades Education. Stephanie D. Leach, Master of Library Science. Ashley M. Lim, Master of Library Science. Olivia Lenahan, Master of Library Science. Danielle A. Little, Master of Arts in Education, Adult Education. Marissa A. Mace, Master of Library Science. Riley M. Marcotte, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Tatum Marshall, Bachelor of Science, Physical Education. Christina Martin, Master of Library Science. Delaney K. Martin, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Megan L. Martin, Master of Library Science. Evan T. Mayle, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Kelly A. McBride-Nee, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Emma C. McClintock, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Carly N. McClendon, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Michelle S. McNeil, Special Endorsement in Computer Education Certificate. Anna M. McKenzie, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Amanda J. Mendoza, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Mary A. Morton, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Jennifer P. Muir, Doctorate of Education, Educational Leadership. Jacqueline M. Nalapinski, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Cassidy E. Nance, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Corey R. Nard, Bachelor of Music, Music Education. Abigail N. Nuremberg, Master of Arts in Education, Instructional Technology. Michael S. Newman, Master of Arts in Education, Adult Education. George M. Nichols, Master of Science, Instructional Technology. Courtney J. Orndorff, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Allison G. Perry, Master of Library Science. Cody A. Peterson, Bachelor of Science, Physical Education. Abigail G. Peer, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Hannah E. Pio, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Lydia S. Poole, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Hannah F. Pritchard, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Art Education. Stephanie M. Proctor, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Brandon M. Ratcliffe, Master of Arts in Education, Adult Education. Leslie River, Master of Library Science. Brittany W. Rogers, Special Endorsement in Computer Education Certificate. Jillian E. Rose, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Bridget M. Salas, Master of Arts in Education, Instructional Technology. Madison R. Salter, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Amber N. Sanderson, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Trevor J. Scoot, Bachelor of Science, Physical Education. Anita H. Segovia, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Barbara L. Sakel, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Tammy L. Sessoms, Master of Library Science. Bailey D. Shackelford, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Star M. Schaefer, Master of Arts in Education, Middle Grades Education. Annalie P. Sheffer, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Zachary T. Shore, Bachelor of Science, Physical Education. Jenna M. Soliani, Master of Library Science. Melithia S. Spencer, Master of Library Science. Shelley S. Spencer, Bachelor of Science, Middle Grades Education. Jody L. Stallings, Master of Arts in Education, Elementary Education. Lexington M. Steed, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Bethany A. Strange, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Sean T. Sullivan, Bachelor of Science, History Education. Corinne L. Surratt, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Lindsay G. Sutton, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Ashton B. Swearingen, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Leah J. Talbert, Master of Library Science. Carly W. Tarkington, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Brittany M. Teague, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Troy A. Thomas, Master of Science, Instructional Technology. Mary F. Tippett, Master of Arts in Education, Adult Education. Cindy K. Trejo Mendieta, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Susan Van Boning, Master of Library Science. Haley N. Vickery, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Monica A. Villafranca, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Laura K. Viverette, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Ashley M. Walker, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Natalie M. Walston, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Tiffany J. Washington, Master of Arts in Education, Special Education. Matthew Weaver, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Art Education. Jessica L. Werner, Master of Library Science. Jessica B. West, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Kaylee R. White, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Phoenix C. Wilder, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Ren E. Wiles, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Jennifer P. Wilkins, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Bria T. Williams, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Tony M. Williams, Master of Arts in Education, Adult Education. Avery P. Williamson, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Courtney J. Wilson, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Kenyatta J. Wilson, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Dinah M. Winnell, Master of Library Science. Lori P. Winner, Master of Library Science. Millicent K. Womble, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Catherine D. Woodward, Master of Library Science. Grace E. Yasnitsky, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Nicholas A. Zangwill, Master of Arts in Education, Curriculum and Instruction. Meredith Beeman, Master of Library Science. Jennifer S. Belcher, Bachelor of Science, Special Education, General Curriculum. Landy E. Brady, Master of Science, Instructional Technology. Elizabeth Camden, Bachelor of Music, Music Education. Mina A. Gurgis, Master of Arts in Education, Instructional Technology. Heather N. Ingram, Master of Arts in Education, Elementary Education. Maria C. Remusevic, Master of Library Science. Austin L. Reese, Master of Arts in Education, Elementary Education. Jody S. Tombulian, Master of Arts in Education, Art Education. Erica C. Butita, Bachelor of Science, Middle Grades Education. Eleanor A. Chappell, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Alexis M. Cruz, Bachelor of Science, Special Education, Adapted Curriculum. Leah A. Fleming, Bachelor of Science, Special Education, Adapted Curriculum. Jasmine L. Garland McKinney, Master of Science, Counselor Education. Catherine E. Marriott, Bachelor of Science, History Education. Eva E. Nolan, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Art Education. Taylor N. Otto, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Natalie N. Sadler, Bachelor of Science, Family and Consumer Sciences Education. Alexis R. Sands, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Connie S. Smith, Master of Arts in Education, Mathematics Education. Chantel J. Tolpan, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education.